Hi everyone, before I get started with this video, yes, I'm wearing the Cleveland Browns. Unfortunately, I'm a lifelong Cleveland fan, although it worked out for the Cavaliers, not so much for the Cleveland Browns, and as well for the Indians, even though they got way too close for my liking, but that's neither here nor there. So I want to give a quick shout out before I talk about my personal thoughts about the SBD wrist wraps to John Allen for sending me these and giving me the ability to use these without having to buy them myself. I mean, saved me a lot of money with that. And I will most likely use these until something happens with them because they work very well. I've used them for a little bit over a week now, I think, and I've used them for every lift that I would normally use wrist wraps for, whether it's squat, bench, snatches, clean and jerks, any of those movements I've used them for, and they worked well for all of those. The only things I'd have to do was kind of adjust it a little bit for those, but that isn't any different than my other wrist wraps that I had used previously. The first thing that I noticed when I got these is they look pretty cool. Red and black, I'm a big fan. But opening these, I didn't realize how dang long these bad boys are. And perhaps that's just ignorance on my part, me not paying attention to other people's videos or John's videos, because I believe he still uses some version of SBD's wrist wraps. Or he's used these in the past, because I followed him for a little bit of time now. But I was surprised how long they were, but I found that extra length was initially annoying at first to get it on because I just wasn't used to it, but after like the second time I used it, it was actually very useful because you're able to get it into a more precise part on your wrist, whether it's higher or a little bit lower. It's easier to get it into that good sweet spot, whether for whatever lift that you're doing. If I'm doing a bench, I like it a little bit higher. Squats doesn't really matter too much. Snatches and clean and jerks a little bit lower. So I could really vary it to what lift I was doing, or I could have it tighter or looser. I could vary that a lot more. With the shorter ones, I didn't really have as much of that flexibility, so these are very nice as far as what I can do with different lifts and how much I can vary it and kind of customize it based on the lifts I'm doing, or how much wrist support, or if my hand feels weird, I can make it looser, whatever it may be with that. The only downside with getting it on is one that's very long, so it's a little bit more difficult than a shorter one, and you can, because it's more precise, whether it's higher or lower, you kind of have to pay attention to that more because you have more flexibility to have it whether it's higher or lower. Not really a negative, but it is something you have to pay attention to when putting them on. Perhaps the only real negative that I have with these just in general is the thumb thing, and I know it sounds really random, but the thumb thing is, at least for me, it was kind of difficult to get folded in. When I bench or do any of the lifts that I use these for, I don't have the thumb thing on my thumb. I only use it to get the wrist wrap around my wrist, and then I fold it under. With the previous wrist wraps that I had, they weren't as tight with that first loop, so I was able to fold it under a lot easier. With these, it's been a little bit more tricky to get used to that, but the last session I tried folding it in a different way, and it worked a lot better, so hopefully that will continue to be the case. And really, I think just as I use them more, I'll get more comfortable with adjusting them in different ways and getting them to be as comfortable as they could ever possibly be. But that may be more difficult because I don't plan on using them too much moving forward, and it's not simply I really like using them, but I want to preserve them as much as I can and save them for times around the meet, because I have my old wrist wraps and they provide about the same amount of support. And as far as my training, as long as I'm getting that little bit of support, I'm not too concerned. Of all things, like the wrist wraps aren't a huge concern, and I haven't had really much of any wrist issues. The only time I've had any wrist type issues is with my thumb after doing a bunch of snatches and then benching, but thankfully I don't have too much of that joint issue with that. But I'll probably try to be preserving these as much as I can because they're very nice and very high quality, and then as I get closer to various meets or a PR or something, I'll throw them on, or if I just feel like using them a day, I may throw them on because they are very high quality. So if you're looking for wrist wraps and you're willing to put some extra money in, then I would definitely recommend getting these. And if you're just looking for a pair that will last a long time, I know John used these for a year and used them for all of his workouts, and they still work really well. They work as well as the other wrist wraps that I have that I've beat up quite a bit, and I hope that these will continue to last for a while. And obviously, if you're going to pay more for a high quality product, probably going to get a better product in general. And I know SBD is usually top, or the highest class or top class or whatever as far as equipment goes. And I'll probably get some of their sleeves in the future, so I'll probably do a review on those once I end up getting the SBD knee sleeves, and I'll do a review on the sleeves that I currently have because they were not very expensive. I don't want to say exactly how much, but less than $30. and they work very, very well with that. So I'll do a little review of those, but I mean, just in summary, I would recommend the SBD knee sleeve or wrist wraps if you need some. Definitely high quality, and they work very well. And perhaps the biggest downside I would say is the thumb thing, which is not even that big of a downside. And the biggest benefit is how customizable, if that's how you want to define it, of where you can put it on your wrist, whether you want it higher or lower, or tighter or looser with that. It's all really easy to adjust with that, and to really make it fit what you need personally, or what you would need for a particular lift. So I can't recommend these enough, and again, thank you, John, for sending me these. It's extremely generous with you. Hopefully by the time that this video is sent out, I have sent your little thank you in the mail, and that's gotten to you. I was gonna drive to the post office today, but it was pouring rain when I got back, and I was much too lazy to go back out into the rain to drive to the post office. But I have the stamp and everything on it, so hopefully I can motivate myself to go over to the post office and get that sent, and hopefully you get that by the time this video gets sent out. I'm recording this on Tuesday, January 3rd, and this video will probably go up later this week, so probably like Friday. So hopefully I have it at least sent in the mail, but who knows how that'll work out. But anywho, I got a bit off track. So like I said, I'll put a link to John's channel down below. Highly recommend you checking out his channel. I'll put a link to these wrist wraps down below, whether it be an Amazon or an SBD website, or maybe I'll put both. If you want to look at it for yourself. And if you have any questions or comments about my review of these, or any specific questions about the wrist wraps in general that you have thought of while watching this video that I didn't address, or you want to know, please let me know about those down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.